So we are here with Aven Tedros, one of the long-standing members of Client Capital. Aven, how are you, my man?
I'm good. I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. So we are doing a student interview with Aven. Aven, first of all, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone who may be watching this video?
100%. So, my name is Aven Tedros. I am based in DC, and I run an email marketing agency that specializes in warm B2C email campaigns for businesses in the pet industry, specifically the pet care niche, related to email campaigns, moving the needle for businesses in that regard to where they get a high ROI from their spendings.
Nice, man. Yeah, you've got a really interesting niche there. And I think, the pet niche is not a niche that I come across a lot, right? And it's really interesting. So you've managed to do some amazing things. In fact, I'm not even going to spoil your revenue. Do you want to tell these guys what you're making on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so we have some things in the pipeline. So where I'm currently at now may change, within later on this month, next month, etc. Right now we're sitting at 13K revenue per month. And this is stuff that, we're just able to reinvest back into ourselves, our business, right? Softwares for our clients, just make sure we're delivering as much value as we can to the marketplace. But we're at 13K, rocking and rolling.
Bro, that's an incredible achievement. Honestly, I remember when we first spoke, Aven, you didn't even know what an agency was, bro. So let's jump into it. I mean, what was it like when you first joined Client Capital? What things did you like? What things did you find hard? Talk to us, man.
So with me, I just like the camaraderie of being around people who are like-minded. I like being around people who thought the same way I did, just in terms of the agency space, the high income skills that we all share. Some people in ads, some people in email marketing, some people with Google ads, right? So there's just a wide variety of people with different high income skill sets. They're able to chop it up with, give sauce to provide value to them as well, and really grow a friendship beyond just the community itself, which of course you give to the community, which I love.
Definitely, man. And you're based in the US, right? And we've got quite a lot of UK people inside. So it must be nice having some friends across the pond, right?
100%. I know wherever I go in the UK, I'm good. So, you
So right, man, you're always welcome here as well, as you know. But okay, cool. So you said you're at 13K a month, which is absolutely amazing, man. By the way, anyone that's watching this, Aven is an extremely hard worker. He had zero prior agency experience before joining Client Capital. How quickly did it take you to sign your first client, Aven?
it didn't take too long. I'd say it took around a month and a half to 2 months. And the reason it took that long was because of the mistakes I now realize that, from back in the day, I didn't have any experience. So when it came to just outreach, when it came to building a multi-channel sequence, right, and being able to perfect my skill, those are some things that I had to learn along the way, with certain wins and losses I take. Wins would be you have a discovery meeting book, but then losses being, okay, you had something with momentum and it fell through. You didn't get the sale. So I was always someone that would be very persistent through adversity. So especially when I got my first testimonial, it just let me know what was possible for me.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I think I remember having a conversation with you, and then all of a sudden it just clicked. And one week you did $6,000 in MRR. I mean, talk to us about that, bro. That was crazy.
That was. So, within the summer, I definitely had a bit more momentum going down to my side just because of the fact that I was off from school. I had more time to focus on the agency. And I had learned a bit more from my mistakes just in terms of the sales process, how to speak to people through the computer, right? And, with that, it was a crazy, crazy just scenario. Like one client of mine, I still have to this day, I met in the gym of all places. I had been living in the same apartment complex for years. And just that one day we had met, we chopped it up, we eventually had a meeting and it led to some mutual benefit for both of us. So we went through with that. That was at like 2K a month. And the other ones were just ones that I was able to perfect, just like with us speaking on Google Meets, us being able to provide value to people. I was better with the sales process. So I learned how to lean more into fear and pain. And that is what made me move the needle just in terms of, closing clients and then fulfilling on that end as well.
Definitely, man. And how's your life changed since you're now making, 13K a month, right? 5 figures a month, like, welcome. It's a good being, man. How's that changed your life, man?
It's changed my life for the better. It's definitely been a positive experience because now I'm not as worried financially of how much money I need to make to cover certain bills or anything. I'm able to help my parents out with their rent, with their bills, right? Still being able to keep my expenses low, being able to reinvest into myself and my business. It's just a confidence booster, I'd say, because you have more of a peace of mind knowing that you aren't stressing what most people my age would usually be stressing about, which is money. Oh, I need this internship for this job, right? To where, right. I mean, I usually love to be humble about this because I understand who I was before I was in the agency space, but just being able to provide value and understand, okay, well, it didn't take too long to go from point A to point B. So just understand where I'm at now. I understand amongst the big boys, I still have a lot of work to do. So still going at it that way, but it gives a lot of confidence and peace of mind.
Definitely, bro. I love the fact that you're humble as well. Like that's the energy we have in Client Capital. Like, as much as $13,000 is an incredible achievement at your age, bro. And like, I know you said to me before you were able to help out with your mum's rent and stuff like this, and not have to work a 9 to 5. But like I say, you've got such a goal orientated mindset, right? Like 13K is just where you're getting started. You're already talking to me about, I've got big pipeline coming up. Like, I'm gonna do so much more. So I'm super excited to see where that goes, man. So in fact, that leads me on to my next question. What's next for you, man? Like, what's the big goal? Like, what is it you want to achieve? Let's say in the next 3 months.
Within the next 3 months, a lot. I want to completely be hands off. I know it's a crazy, crazy goal, but I know if I put in the right work, in the right vehicles, I can achieve it. There are certain tasks already that I'm delegating to others, right? Just in terms of, assistant copywriters, different skill sets within that email space to where you'll transition from just written email copy to VSLs. I'm going to pick on more VSL clients because with them, the difference for VSLs for a client would be night and day. More visually appealing. They have higher engagement rates just in terms of people staying through. And they're able to portray value in a way that's more modern compared to a standard email. You're able to charge more as well. So you'll charge for a project up north of like 5K, 7K a month. And you'll keep stacking those on. These are obviously giant steps for me as, it's one step closer to me being able to retire my parents, being able to have more freedom, have more just peace of mind and luxury, not just for us, but, being able to give back. I want to be at a point to where I'm able to help people back home in my country of Eritrea in terms of just making sure people are good in that regard for basic amenities that we may take advantage of in the US and the UK. And really just being able to keep the momentum that we've built so that we're able to maintain it throughout what's currently Q2, onto Q3 and Q4. So that's where my headspace is at.
One incredible answer for any of you guys watching. That is what an entrepreneur sounds like. Just focusing on the next move in the goalpost and sorting out the people that he loves and people around him. It's not all about the Rolexes and the fancy cars. So Aven, bro, honestly, it's such a pleasure to be working with you, man. So, okay, what would you say has been the best thing that Client Capital has allowed you to do?
The best thing Client Capital has allowed me to do is get advice from experts who have been there and done that. I would say, just in terms of the mentors I've had, in terms of you and Zub, right? But also being around people with different high income skills that you're able to come for help. There are so many people who are unique in so many different ways that you can come to them at certain time zones and convene and be able to get a problem solved that, having not been in the group, you wouldn't find that variety. So I think there's a lot of variety in terms of people who have different skill sets, in terms of just camaraderie, being able to speak to people, just being able to get expert advice, especially the live calls that we have, on Thursdays, right? Just being able to get that sort of advice and then being able to implement it, I think is my favorite part.
I'm gonna say, as you mentioned the live calls, I want to tell people that are watching this video, Aven used to join these live calls when he was working his 9 to 5. And I remember customers coming up to you and being like, could you show me something? You'd be like, 1 second. And you would just be listening to all of this information. So the effort and work that you used to put in, man, to get to where you are now is honestly incredible, bro. I'm really proud of you, genuinely.
I appreciate that, Dan. And that means a lot. Yeah. I mean, you'll be in non-ideal situations sometimes, but you just still need to find a way to move the needle forward. Like I'd be at work, right, trying to speak to a customer, but I'm also trying to get these gems that are being dropped so I could take that, move the needle for business. So it was a lot, but if you really want to be where the 1% are, you have to do what the 99% won't. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I can see that your vision is there, which is great. So Coming back to the mentorship then, in terms of like working with myself and working with Zab, how has that kind of shaped you to where you are now?
It laid the foundation in terms of an agency structure, in terms of client fulfillment, in terms of learning SOPs, in terms of learning how to delegate, in terms of troubleshooting issues within your high income skill. I think there's a lot I've been able to take away from you guys just because of the fact that, within everyday moments, I'm equipped to solve them. When things go wrong or when things go right and you don't overshoot, especially within the sales process. I mean, there's been so many gems I've taken from you personally that, have made me thousands upon thousands. And I'm very grateful for that as well. But yeah, just laying the overall agency structure to me while I was a rookie, a new person, I think was really valuable for you guys.
Good man, good man. Well, I guess the next thing I want to ask you, I know you were due to come to the Marbella meetup, but you had passport issues, man, which is, it's so stressful, man. But are you going to be coming to the next international meetup that we do? I think we are going to be doing Greece. Don't hold me to that. I'm not sure what my team have booked, but I believe so. Are you going to be coming?
100%. I think we're really now ready to get rocking. This has been long overdue, really. So I just want to be able to just come there, finally meet up with the people that helped change my life in a good way and just enjoy it and take the experience in and learn a lot.
Perfect, man. So I've got one last question, right? Let's say people that are watching this video, they're sat on the fence about joining Client Capital, right? They might be a little bit unsure because they've never run an agency before, or they're running one, they're really struggling. What would you say to those guys?
You need people around you to make you great. Lone wolves don't win in this world, especially in business where everything is hyper competitive. You won't stand a chance as a small fish. You need to surround yourself with people who have the same skill sets as you, who may not have your skill set, but know other people who do, and have skill sets in different areas to where you're just able to make connections with people that are authentic and be able to come to them when you need help, and it's vice versa. You'll give that same energy out to them as well when they're in times of need. And you need to invest in yourself to really take that leap forward, because people will spend money, on clothes, on junk food, on stuff like that. But when it comes to themselves or their own business, they'll be a bit more hesitant. So you have to take those risks. You have to understand what's in front of you, just in terms of the people, in terms of the expertise that's around you. And if you believe that you're willing to work hard enough and squeeze as much juice out of the community as you can, that's how you have nothing to work on.
My man, do you know what? I was just going to say, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I remember when you first joined, you weren't financially stable, right? Like you were like, I'm not going to go into your financial situation, but it was a tricky time for you, right? And you put all of your eggs in the basket. Now look at you, $13,000 a month, looking to get to that 20K over the next couple of months, if not more, bro.
Oh, yeah.
So it was definitely worth it for you from what I understand.
100%. I mean, I'd say I'm able to speak up on it so well because I was in that same situation where I've been on the fence about things. I've had to use the money I made from work and just reinvest it back into myself. So it kept me disciplined in terms of my spending and budgeting for a long period of time, even still now. But you just have to surprise yourself. I think once you take that first big step, you'll be surprised. Okay, if I can do this, this wasn't that scary. What's more ahead down the road?
Definitely, bro. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time to do this short interview, Aven. I really appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.